am going to kick off and welcome our very first speaker, Mr. Nevin, and many of you have heard him, Economist, right? Director of Economic and Market Research at Expira Group. Extensive background, very, very extensive in the real estate economics, lending, and market analysis. He previously served as a director of real estate research for Home Fed Bank, president of Conam Securities, a subsidiary of Conam Management Company, chief economist of the California Building Industry Association. I mean, just a wealth of knowledge. And I want to tell you, he is here today. He's making it. That's all I can say. This man does not stop. He does not stop. And so I really, really appreciate him being here with us today.
When I first started consulting with the La Costa Development Group, La Costa was owned by the Cleveland Mafia. And they were an interesting group to work with, to say the least. Oh, there I am. Okay. I'm going to start off with a little feel-good stuff. A couple of weeks ago, I read an article that was saying that our children and our grandchildren will not live as well as we do. And I'm saying, bull. I'm saying our kids and our grandkids are going to live infinitely better than we have. And one of the reasons is there's almost $23 trillion of equity in homes that our kids and grandkids are going to develop. Most of that, by the way, is in the city of Carlsbad. Last year, insurance companies paid out $800 billion to heirs. We've got $4 trillion in savings. We have an amazing amount of money that's starting to roll out and is going to take care of our kids and our grandkids. And 30% of all home sales in the U.S. are all cash. So there's a lot of money around. Now, let's get to the heart of it. It's all about jobs. We have almost 11 million job openings in the United States that can't be filled. Almost half of those result from folks who are retiring. They decided to just call it quits, and we need to fill those jobs, and we just don't have enough people to fill them. When we look at the unemployment rate, we're back down to 4.8%. Now, pre-COVID, we were at about 3.5%. So we're almost there again, back to normalcy. Now, the really great news is, and something that really is really important for this county, is that those who have college degrees essentially never were affected by COVID. The unemployment rate remained, let's say, 3% is essentially zero. This is another amazing thing. When COVID hit in April last year, we got up to 6 million initial job claims for unemployment. Now we're down to 281, which is almost as good as it was pre-COVID. So our economy nationally is doing well. Now, let's look at California, the state everyone loves to hate. Texans in particular. 60% of the adults moving to California have a bachelor's degree or higher. This is really an interesting thing. Our state population isn't growing anymore right now, mainly because we cut off immigration at the start of COVID. But the important thing here is folks who are moving out of California tend to be lower income and not highly educated. And what's moving in is the highly educated. And that augurs very, very well for our economy. In 2020, last year, more than half of the nation's venture capital funding went to California. I mean, there are 49 other states, but we don't recognize them. Okay. Take a look at this. $34 billion in the third quarter went to California. It's almost remarkable. We have almost 500,000 new permits for new businesses. We lead the nation in business starts. Yeah, we lose a little to Texas, but not much. Our general fund revenues in the state up almost 50% on personal income and double corporations. So yeah, we may be an expensive place to live, but our companies can make a lot of money in this state. In terms of our gross domestic product, California is in fact the 5th largest nation in the world. And the way it's going, I think we could get up to 4th position in another couple of years. And do notice that Texas is way behind us. You know. Now, let's look at San Diego.
It's better when it's on the screen.
This is an interesting statistic. Robert Half, which is a national employment company. San Diego has the highest percentage of employers in the United States who plan to hire within the next few months. In San Diego, 62% of senior managers said they intend to hire workers soon. That augurs rather well for us. Job gains in the last year, the latest figures I have is from August. We gained almost 80,000 jobs in this county in the last year. That's pretty remarkable. Now, let's talk real estate. I went back to 2012. I couldn't get any statistics earlier than that. But days on market, in the last decade, we've never had a situation like we have now, where we have days on market is 20 days. Just remarkable. And this year is a pretty good chance that we could hit 40,000 closings by the end of the year. Still have November and December to get our numbers soon. But the basic point is, it's, despite the fact that it's tough getting listings, we're still selling a lot of goods. And home prices went up 15% on detached and 18% on attached. And that also is fairly remarkable. You know what's also remarkable, by the way? I went around the nation and I looked at home price increases in godforsaken places like Buffalo. Home prices there are going up. And I have no idea why home prices go up to Buffalo, because the population keeps declining. But nonetheless, we keep going up, and I don't know how much longer we can keep going up at this pace, but we might as well enjoy it while we can. It's interesting that slowly the increases have been going down a little bit, but still 15% this past month isn't so bad. Now let's take a little look at North County. This is a remarkable slide. Last year, venture capital coming into North County, $604 million. Virtually all of that went into the city of Carlsbad. It's fairly remarkable. And then if you go down a little bit to Carmel Valley, $1.7 billion. And I have to tell you, it's happening again. We just got our third quarter numbers, and San Diego was just remarkable. We're among the top 5 in the nation in terms of venture capital raising. And every time that money comes in here, that means, first of all, that they're going to be looking for space, and therefore the demand for commercial office space, life sciences in particular, is off the chart. And then secondarily, of course, they hire college graduates who can afford to buy homes in North County. North County is really interesting. Educational attainment, 44% of the workforce in North San Diego County has a college degree. That is somewhat remarkable. Math proficiency, if you look at the high schools in North County, the percent of the math proficiency is by far the highest here in North County. If you're interested, just an aside, if you want to see how the schools do in North County, go online and type in SARC, S-A-R-C. Every school in the state has their scores on the SARC website from the Department of Education. And you can see there's just a fascinating relationship. This table shows most of the high schools in North County, and the math scores are incredibly high. Remember, there are only 3 other high schools in the county that have math scores as high as those in North County. And the reality is, there's an amazing correlation between the price of housing and the math scores. And people fight to get into these high schools because they know it's an automatic entry into college, into the good colleges. So North County has something close to a monopoly on great schools in this county. Are we going to have enough housing? Of course not. But we're getting more. Right now, there are 9 master plan communities underway in North County, north of 8, that will produce about 9,000 housing units. And there are more coming, unless we vote them down. And it's going to become more difficult to vote them down because of some new state laws. But the basic point is, there's a lot of new housing coming, and that generates movement in the market and will allow people to move up or move down, and that creates business for you. Because if you don't get people moving, you don't sell any houses. So all I'm telling you is that over the next few years, you have a lot of new housing coming online, and that will generate a lot of business for you in the next few years. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.